2026 has comebacks, resurrections, and at least one show I'd given up on ever existing. I've been sitting on my #1 pick since the announcement dropped, and if you've been on this channel longer than 5 minutes, you can probably guess it. But the road there, stacked. 10 picks, let's count them down. Every time a Korean webtoon gets an anime now, I can hear solo leveling money being counted somewhere in the distance.
このゲームで頑張れば俺だって。
鍛冶職人の匠、パグマの末裔に転職します。レベル1です。
Overgeared is the next one off that conveyor belt, and honestly, it's one of the picks I'm quietly rooting for. Shin Young-woo is a broke, unlucky guy grinding away in the VR game Satisfy until he stumbles into a legendary class, Bagma's successor, and becomes a blacksmith who can forge the most broken gear in the game. Grid isn't a power fantasy from minute one, he's kind of a mess, and the fun is watching him hammer his way out of rock bottom. Literally, JC's staff is handling it for an October premiere. Manhwa adaptations keep raising the bar. I'd love this one to clear it.
何があってもクリアしてみせる。
スキルコピー。
ここから俺の伝説が始まるんだ。諦めてたまるかよ。
My default setting for remakes is suspicious. And then Toei announced Dragon Ball Super Beerus at the franchise's 40th anniversary event, and my arms uncrossed themselves.
来なさい。甘い。終わりだ。
This is what they're calling an enhanced edition of Dragon Ball Super. The Beerus and Golden Frieza sagas rebuilt with newly drawn cuts, a reconstructed story, re-recorded dialogue, the works, with the stated goal of getting closer to what Akira Toriyama actually put on the page. And look, we all remember what early Super looked like on TV. Some of those episodes were rough enough to become memes that outlived the arcs themselves. The idea of the story getting the treatment it deserved from the start, especially now as a tribute to Toriyama's original vision, hits a soft spot that I didn't know I still actually had. Will it be essential viewing if you've already seen Super? Ask me that in October. But a god of destruction waking up in a fall season this crowded feels thematically correct, and I'll be there, arms fully uncrossed.
ふざけるのもいい加減にしやがれ。
I keep a mental shelf, a new action anime with that this could be the next big one smell. The Vermilion Mask has been sitting on it since the first trailer dropped. The setup is grim in the best way. Peru, apprenticed to a legendary mask maker, puts on the mask of the warrior god, loses control, and kills his companions and his own master. His penants hunt down and destroy every mask his master ever crafted, scattered across the world, each one capable of granting power or unleashing calamity. Redemption quest, plus Monster of the Week structure, plus a hero carrying genuine blood on his hands. That's a sturdy engine for a battle series. Then you look at the staff sheet and it gets serious. The director of Blue Lock's first season, music from Arisa Okehazama of Jujutsu Kaisen fame, and a 2-core commitment out of the gate, which tells you the production committee believes in this thing. October on Crunchyroll. Fresh IP in a season of sequels deserves attention. This one has mine.
師匠の仮面は俺が全てぶっ壊せ。
Alright, quick break, because this video is sponsored by JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit, which is officially live right now on the App Store and Google Play. This is the first globally released mobile JoJo RPG, and the whole pitch is basically a JoJo fan's dream scenario. You pull iconic characters from parts 1 through 6 and build your own dream team, which means yes, you can finally settle those cursed who beats who debates yourself with strategic stand battles that look genuinely cinematic. The anime art style is faithfully recreated, the signature poses are all here, and the battle animations go stupidly hard. There's real depth too. Character progression, skill upgrades, equipment enhancement, guilds, co-op challenges, a bunch of different game modes to grind through with friends. And since it's launch week, the timing could not be better. The SSR Jotaro Kujo special summon event is live right now, plus a character story event following Jotaro through Stardust Crusaders, and login events stacked with rewards just for showing up. So download JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Spirit with my link in the description and pinned comment, build your team and claim those launch rewards. Now back to the video.
つくばってでも B には落ちねえ
I played football for years. I have a whole video gushing about this show. You knew it was making this list. Awashi is one of the smartest sports anime of its generation. I said in my sports list that it rewired how I watch real matches, and 4 years later, I still catch myself nodding at off-the-ball movement like I invented tactics. Now, after an agonizing wait, Ashito returns this October, and the circumstances fascinate me. TMS Entertainment has taken over production from Production IG, and the team has been openly showing off its process. Real tactical formations built from the manga, motion captured play, camera work planned like an actual broadcast. For a story whose entire soul is spatial awareness, a kid learning to see the whole pitch as a living map, that obsession with authenticity is exactly the right religion. The academy stakes get sharper from here, the opponents get crueler, and Ashito has everything to prove. In a year when the World Cup already had all of us football brained, this might be the return I'm most excited for, easily.
俺はようやくスタートラインに立った
A dying noble woman looks up at the assassin sent to kill her and proposes marriage.
これだけは覚えておいて里子を守る役は俺だから
家に帰ったら父の認める相手と結婚するつもりなんです。だからあなたとは結婚できません。
That's the pitch. I was in before I even finished that sentence. Firefly Wedding is a Meiji-era romance about Satoko, an earl's daughter with a heart condition and very little time left, whose plan to marry for her family's honor gets interrupted by Shinpei, the man contracted to end her. Her counteroffer, marry me instead, kicks off something dark, tense, and apparently far more romantic than that setup has any right to be. The manga built a fierce reputation and the anime pedigree backs it up. David Production is animating, so the visuals should carry real elegance. Romance anime rarely make any anticipated lists, I'll admit that openly. This one clawed its way on with a knife to my throat, which feels appropriate.
私と一緒になれば全てが手に入ります。私たち結婚しましょう。
ちょっと愛が重いけど
Some finales you anticipate, this one I've been bracing for.
助けてくれ焚き火2008年俺高校生になってる
If you remember my old videos, Tokyo Revengers was a show I called out for keeping me on the edge of my seat, and then the anime went quiet after 2023 right as the story stood on the cliff's edge. Now, the endgame arrives in October. The Denjiku conflict is over. What's left of Tokyo is carved up between three factions in what fans call the Three Deities era, with Brahman and Rokuhana Tandai stepping into frame and Maria Issei joining as Senju. One last revenge, one friend left to save. I know exactly how this manga ends and my chest is still tightened watching the trailer. That's the grip this series has never let go of.
この人たちが
てめえら六原なんて眼中にねえんだよ。うちは東卍とぶつかる前に花垣武道を仲間にするだけだ。
Somewhere out there is a version of me that didn't get attached to a talking sword and a cat-eared child. I don't want to meet him.
このまま一気に向かうぞフィニートなんだこりゃどこもかしこもアンデッドだらけだな我が名はジャンプービーアンデッドの巣窟か我にふさわしきダンジョンであるな
我が主は凄腕の資料術師ですよ
怪しい
Reincarnated as a sword was one of those isekai I put on expecting background noise and ended up genuinely caring about, purely because of the bond at its center. A man reborn as a sentient blade. Fran, the beast girl he rescues from slavery. A found family dynamic where the parent figure is, and I can't stress this enough, an inanimate object. Now, it should be ridiculous. It's weirdly tender instead. Season 2 was announced all the way back in December 2022, so this has been a nearly 4-year wait, and Studio C2C is returning with director Shinji Ishihira for an October premiere. One catch though, it's streaming exclusively on High Dive, so prepare your wallets or your workarounds accordingly. I'm not expecting this to top the charts, I'm expecting it to make me smile every single week, and in a season this heavy, that's its own kind of valuable.
世界はつながるサイレン入国管理センターです。
捨てなさい、よしだ。
15 15 years. You may be watching and weren't even reading manga when Siren got the axe, and I need you to understand what a strange miracle this is. Toshiaki Iwashiro's psychic survival thriller ran in Weekly Shonen Jump from 2008 to 2010, got cut down before its time, and then spent a decade and a half as one of those "why was this never animated" titles fans kept nominating in polls. And now Satellite is actually doing it. October 2026, with Iwashiro himself involved in the scripts, and the stated plan is to adapt the story through to its ending. Cancelled Jump manga getting full run revivals in 2026 is a timeline I didn't have on my bingo card. The premise still slaps. Ageha picks up a red phone card from a telephone booth, answers the call, and gets dragged into a deadly game tied to a wave of disappearances across Japan. Time-bending mystery, psychic battles, real stakes. If this lands, it opens the door for every other cancelled classic gathering dust. No pressure, Siren, just the hopes of an entire generation.
ここはサイレンの世界。ゲームをクリアすれば元の世界へ戻れる。
俺の命をかけたゲームの始まり。サイレン。旅行に行かないか？
旅行？
あれには5年前に亡くなった中級妃の遺体が載っている。
There's a very specific joy in watching the smartest person in the room pretend she isn't. Mao Mao has been my weekly dose of it for 2 seasons, and the withdrawal has been real. The Apothecary Diaries returns in October, and structurally, this is the most ambitious thing on the list. A split-core 3rd season with part 1 this fall, part 2 in spring 2027, and because apparently that wasn't enough, an original film in December with a brand new story written by the author herself. That's a franchise flexing. I'm very excited to see where the story goes. Season 2 ended with the palace chapter of Mao Mao's life effectively closing, and this season pushes her out of the rear core entirely westward into unfamiliar politics where none of her usual leverage applies. A mystery series is only as good as the walls it puts around its detective, and these are entirely new walls. Gorgeous production, sharp writing, a heroine who licks poison recreationally. Fall's safest bet, and I mean that as the highest compliment.
劇場版薬屋の独り言暴気の秘宝
どんな秘密を隠しているのだろうか。
まだ見えてない血をつかめないまま。
今度はこちらが攻める番だ。
団長を返してもらうぞ。
あんたたちの好きにはさせないわ。諦めないのが私たちの強さだから。
動け。今ここで限界を超えます。行くぞリーベ。ああ、ユナイト。
5 years, 170 episodes, then silence in March 2021. Our Star fans have been out here surviving on a movie and pure faith. Black Clover's return might be the comeback story of the fall. Studio Period is back. Ayataka Tanemura, who directed the original series and Sword of the Wizard King, is back in the chair, and this time there's no brutal weekly production treadmill grinding the staff into paste because the show finally caught the manga on its own terms. That matters more than people realize. The original run pulled off miracles on a schedule that should be illegal, so give this team actual breathing room and I get a little scared, in a good way. Astar's climb from magicless orphan to Devil Union menace has always been shown in comfort food with surprisingly sharp teeth. October can't come soon enough. I've got a recap video on my second channel just in case you want to catch up or revise.
これが私の求めていた世界だ。さあ続きと行こうじゃないか。
お前を倒して生きる。
That's my 10, and yes, I can already feel the comments loading. Tell me, what did I snub? What are you counting the days for? Drop it below. Half my watch list is built out of your replies anyway. Like the video if it earned it, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you when the season starts and half these picks inevitably blow up in my face. Until then.